Welcome back. Let's take a look at a game I played yesterday. This is at the Elite Chess Center, local chess center in the Chicago area. So, yeah, here I got to play an opening that my former roommate had recommended to me, as well as one of my close friends at Notre Dame, Dennis Montecruzes, had recommended and done, I think, a 30-part series on the Quick Rui and or the Exciting Berlin. And he covered this opening in fantastic detail. And he's about to do a commentary, in fact, on the Ding Liren versus Gukesh World Championship match. So I'd encourage you to follow his blog or Substack. And if you support him, you can actually get his extra content there too. I'm not shilling for him for the sake of shilling. I'm shilling because it's excellent stuff. It is costs something, but he does this kind of analysis in a really thorough fashion, and I strongly recommend his content. That's how I managed to be able to win, or not win, but I played fantastically this game, despite my not being necessarily fantastic at most chess openings. Anyway, let's keep going. This is mainline content, so yeah, this is how. I mean, what is a bit different about this, if I remember correctly, White has lines they could play with Rook D1. I think the White could play Rook D1. I think they could play. I forget if you can do H3 here. I've seen people do Knight G5, Bishop G5. This is all stuff that Dennis Montecruzes covers in his videos. It's been forever since I watched it. I think Knight C3 is also a move. I'm drawing a blank though. But yeah, you can find some of his videos online. He explains this better than I can. Knight BD2, I think, is a bit irregular. It can, I think, transpose with Rook D1, Knight F1 or something, but that's not the path we took here. Instead, my opponent attempts to claim the center, but I keep the bishop pair. So the big idea that White's going to have is to push the king side forward and promote a pawn and or make some big threats on the king side, while Black scrambles to come up with a safety for their king, and Black is going to be attacking down the queen side, ideally. I think that's the general concept, the tabia of this opening, and that generally it can be difficult for Black's king to find safety on the king side. So this is a tricky opening, but it's playable. You can play this and get a serious game. So here, I had some idea that I'm just going to put my king on e7, which I'm not so sure about in retrospect. But yeah, if I could play something like this, control that square, connect the rooks, I still don't know if I'm doing fine. Or maybe I was going to bring the rook over to d8 and tuck my king in the corner and pray that I live. I don't know. This got really complicated. Knight f5 feels to me like it loses a turn. I don't know the reality of the matter, but White needs to push their king side, and this gets in the way of them pushing their king side pawns, so I'm not sure what Knight f5 achieves other than forcing me to move my rook, which maybe my rook wasn't going to go to d8, but I wanted it to go there. Anyway, so I've started advancing my queen side, and I notice that if this rook moves away, this is going to be hanging. But if White pushes a pawn to support this, then this creates weaknesses on the king side. So White can't get everything here. White's lost some flexibility in how they can handle this position. And my pieces are starting to coordinate brilliantly here. Originally, I had intended, I was so ready to jump right into this. And then I missed that this is kind of a problem. I can't really do this, so it kind of ruined most of my plans, that damn fork. Then maybe I need to play c5 before doing something like this. I don't know. So Yeah, not even G6. Like, during the game, after I played this and they threatened the fork, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should just play G6 first. I think G6, however, runs into problems with stuff like this. And this rook is not useful. This rook's hardly useful. And white's position looks super scary here. So I don't think that's the answer, but C5 very well might be it. Then fully intending to just bring the king out and find some threat somewhere to make this position playable. The knight's not going to fare well on a completely open board. And if you can get the rook out, black is doing fine. Anywho, I missed the damn fork. Thankfully, I didn't give away the bishop, but yeah, this is sad. I did get to play c5. It's not the same, though. I was debating, should I play rook e4 here? I couldn't even figure out why I wanted to do this. It looked super interesting somehow. Somehow I expected this. And then I was starting to look at this and I was like, okay, it's going to take me some time to get my rook somewhere useful. So potentially I'd bring my king up. I mean, this is one way things could go. So that was, I thought black was fine there. But then I'm like, well, that's not the only thing they could do. They could also play like knight e3 or they could play rook d1. And yeah, maybe it's okay, but the rook being here doesn't really change anything from the rook being over here. The rook over here still makes threats. It's just as menacing to this f-pawn as it is on e4. Rooks don't become more powerful just because then you bring them closer to the scene of the action. Quite the opposite. Let's see, my bishop was hanging, and then I open up the h-file. After the game, I'd suggested to my opponent, hey, yeah, due to tactics, maybe you needed to try this. But, kind of hesitate to suggest it. It can get complicated, I guess. Can I just play g5 here? Can I? And then if they take it, I was going to push h4, but I can't. So, okay. So, but if I play f6 here, that's no good either. Wait, how is h4 not... What was the problem that we were looking at? My opponent and I found that there was some concern with this. And that wasn't super obvious how to solve the said concern, whatever it was. I'm not seeing it now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we could just do that. We might have had the position wrong when we were discussing that possibility. Oh. Interesting. Maybe I need to play bishop e6 here. That's counterintuitive. But white can still play h4. Where's the point where... Oh. So during the game, I was debating g5 and spooked out by this. I couldn't figure this out. This might be what I have to do in order to make sure they can't play h4 with gain of time. I panicked during this game. I really should have spent more time looking at this specifically. Because if I'm going to win, this is the path through which I win the game. But this was a free game. This was us having fun on a Friday. There was not a serious stake at stake other than pride. Maybe some club rating points or something. This is our ladder in our club. So where we keep track of who wins and loses, and whoever wins gets to play the other winners and all that. So it's good fun. I do recommend such things. I was not motivated to try to analyze this. I just wanted to play and have fun. Um, So yeah, even though this is technically a tournament game, um, this is it was a fun game. I was more interested in the opening than anything else, and not super invested at this point. So I consciously chose not to look at this so much, and reasoned that afterward I can just use an engine to look at it and figure out the truth of the matter, because this looks extremely complicated. Um, it didn't look worth it. Didn't look worth the effort. If there were a huge prize at stake, yeah, that might have changed my decision, but wasn't the decision I made. So anyway, yeah, we got ended the game with a perpetual check here because yeah, here under both international rules and U.S. chess rules, if you write the threefold move on your score sheet, and U.S. chess rules make this a bit complicated because they like allow Monroys or whatever they're called these days. Um, but there's some technology whereby you can play the move, but you're not allowed to write it in quotes on your Monroy by entering the move there, because then um, you would see the position. And being able to see the position in advance of making it on the board gives you an advantage over opponents who can't just freely move the pieces about. So, because of that situation, if you are recording a game using a digital entry device, this precludes you, at least until you pause the clock, ask the tournament organizer, please give me a score sheet. I'm going to go enter all the moves manually on the score sheet. And then on my paper score sheet, I'm going to put down, here's the repetition move. And submit the complete score saying, like, here's proof. Yeah, this is OTB. Yeah, so I was just talking about, like, say you had this and you were playing using a Monroy, or whatever it's called these days, where you're not allowed to write the move down on your score sheet before making it on the board, but chess rules allow you to make a draw claim on threefold repetition, but only if you write it down first. But you're not allowed to write it on the Monroy. So you would have to like get a paper score sheet, redo your game score on the paper with your clock still ticking, and then write down the final move on the score sheet, pause the clock, make the draw claim. You'd have to do that. I want to see a skit where that happens. But no, in my case, I just wrote down the move on the score sheet, uh, paused the clock, and informed my opponent that I am claiming a draw. Um, and that's how this game concluded. Uh, Sorry, I missed part of the comment. I've got a really janky setup here. Uh, yeah. Anyway, um, so yeah, I just did a quick. I did a game overview here, carefully reviewing all the moves. We played. The short version is that we played this Ruy Lopez Berlin defense, which my close friend Dennis Montecrucis um, has done an amazing video series on, and it's the only reason that this is like one of the very few openings that I have any real knowledge of. It's because he's done this really meticulous series. It didn't cover this variation. I'm still not really sure what to make of my opponent's play here, other than we got a wide open position where I was not really in any pressure. Um, like, yeah, I've played Bishop B3, and yeah, I managed to F this up and struggle, but Black should be doing just fine here. Which is like so far beyond how I ever do in any other opening. So I was just kind of like having a really enjoyable game here. But yeah, I couldn't find a way to convert an advantage because black has no advantage in the way I played it. I let white's knight get to some pretty useful squares. And if I just like played c5 here, probably better. Um, oh, this is a weekly or monthly or whatever. It's a ladder format. Um, so in this ladder format, and again, not everything shown in the left column here is actually part of the ladder. This is just miscellaneous games I play throughout the year. But this particular game was counted, I think, as my second game in the ladder. The first one I played against the ladder organizer, who I've not played in a decade. No, it's not rated. It's just local club rating. Um, but no, I think it's mostly just they keep, yeah. We could do club ratings. It could be quite fun. I'd encourage clubs to maintain their own rating lists because who needs US chess ratings? But it's not worth the trouble in many cases. But no, we keep track of who's winning, and winners play winners and that sort of thing. Um, but the first week of the ladder, I played against the guy, the club owner, who's organizing the ladder. We've not played in a decade, and we had a really good game. I got a bit impatient at one point and tried to push for a win, and it really severely backfired. So, yeah, until last night, I was in the ladder with a score of 0, despite being like one of the highest rated players in the tournament. Um, so, yeah, it's a pretty goofy situation. Uh, Despite that, yesterday there was a substitute organizer, one of the other guys who runs the chess center there, was running the ladder. Um, and yeah, they saw like, hey, we're gonna actually pair you with uh, um, Zach here. And I think I have a different score sheet against Zach. If I'm remembering right, we've played like 10 years ago in some USCF tournament. If not, maybe it was a Chicago Industrial Chess League tournament, or I don't know. I could swear we've played before. I don't remember how, but they played well. And this game they definitely played well. Um, Even though I think I outplayed them. They just didn't know the system. And something's really screwed up when I know the openings. I shouldn't be the expert, but yeah, maybe this will be a time for me to turn the page and actually start studying some openings and play better. I'm not super invested in the US chess rating system because the US. Anyway, we're not going to get into politics. But yeah, this is a cool opening. And yeah, I hope to continue with the ladder at the chess center or the elite chess facility. Um, yeah, I mean, but yeah, internationally and nationally, my rating is 1986 on both systems. Mm, yeah, I have slight interest in that, but not too concerned about it. Anyway, so do I have any other remarks about this game? I guess maybe now's an opportunity for me to try running the engine through it, like I said I was gonna do. But I'm not super interested. Well, okay, what I am interested in is opening statistics on Lichess. Oops, just kidding. Not that. I switched off the engine for a reason. I meant to hit the book icon. Wait, what? What do you mean? Fail to fetch openings? What do you mean fail to fetch? This position exists. Yeah, my most notable game having a pawn cube, I guess. Okay, so this position has been reached before, believe it or not. Believe it, as Naruto would say. Okay, so knight bd2 is not a popular move among masters. Is the move among Lichess players? Have okay, Lichess players have played knight bd2. How's this filtered? This is actually got a weird filter going on. Let's try that. Let's also add blitz in. So, um, yeah, black scores well with... Oh, bishop e7. I did debate doing bishop e7. Um, I thought it could transpose, but I had forgotten the main line, to be honest. Like, the idea with bishop e7, if white plays this, black gets to dance the knight to h4. And I forget, I think they get to play h5 really quickly, too. Not that. This h5. Not that h5. This h. There we go. And this threatens to take there. So black's able to build an initiative very quickly if white tries to dislodge the knight while the bishop's still here. So rook d1's played 4 times, knight e4's played 9 times. King e8, h5 are all... Yeah, I need to go back and watch Dennis's videos. Because the devil's in details. And yesterday I was just not feeling it. This is like... Maybe some people are taking the ladder super seriously, but I'm using this as a learning experience. And I'm not going to, like, half-ass my opening knowledge on a learning experience. Like, if I don't remember it, then I know what my homework is. My homework is to go back through the videos or some other material and actually learn this stuff, as opposed to just trying it in the game, finding out, oh, well, I just picked the wrong move, well, F me. No. In this situation, since I'm trying to learn, I played h6. Because, like, I knew that it wasn't book, but also it's not book. So, like, it gives me opportunity to find something that's not already researched. Yeah, black still, like, is going to push all this stuff. Yeah. It's all balanced. I am kind of curious about what white can do here with this knight on d2. Knight on d2 does not feel good, as opposed to like knight g5, bishop g5, h3, g4, rook d1. All these other things that tend to get played more often than knight bd2 here. So white's played this 9 times. Does this transpose? Okay, this does transpose. So I'm not going to worry about the other... Well, I mean, I have an opportunity to worry about this, so let's briefly worry about it. King e8. Okay, yeah, black tries to get greedy with bishop e6. Apparently it's too much. Well, among one game, a sample size of 1 says that bishop e6 sucks. Place your bets. Is bishop e6 terrible? Oh, hang on. I gotta go fix my server. So I've got a private server. Does that show on the overlay? No, good. So let me check on the status of that thing. Hang on. Okay. This should bring my server back up any second now. Not sure why it went down. I can look into that. Yeah, I wrote a blog post about it. Is it simple? I'm not sure. Could be easier, could be harder. So rook d1 isn't complete butts, but isn't the main line either. Huh. Yeah. I came to the realization that if I have something of that nature, yeah, I could talk about it, but it's probably easier to just write the damn blog post. I think I only wrote one this time. Okay, so yeah, upon circumspection or further reflection, Stockfish is of the opinion that, hey, Rick D1 actually looks kind of nice. Uh, but then you play it, and it's like, nope, just kidding. Fooled you. All right, so, I mean, this is why we look at the opening statistics instead of engine evaluations. That's pretty fun. But I could hit the plus icon and let this spin forever, and you could figure out if it's 0.1 or 0.0 or whatever. It's not going to make any sense to any of us, um, but compare that with 94. Okay, which is also butts. Whatever. It's a mystery for another day. Unless we want to look at it. But now I've got to, like, solidify my knowledge of this stuff. Yeah, I don't like the king here. I really just don't. I could do this. Apparently I can't do this. Why not? Why is this so bad? Why don't I just go here? Exchange. Oh, fuck. That's funny. Look at that. Alright, so... just kidding. Alright. Yeah. I knew that. I probably would have fallen for this too. So... Anyway. That would have been hilarious. So... Yeah, I'm definitely awake. So okay, that's part of the reason black tends to play the king to the king side quite quickly. Because black often just doesn't have the time to play like b6, bishop e6, king c8, king b7. If black can find the time for that plus h6, black's doing great. But often black can't find the time for it. Has to make some other decision. So bishop e7 encounters or transposes with knight e4 into the jungle of variations that I don't know. I used to know it. I don't know it. I could know it again. Yeah, h6 discourages or prevents knight g5 and bishop g5. Is this where white plays rook d1? Why am I watching the Lichess database for this? Wait, how is this not in the Masters DB? The hell? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Let me change... Oh, we don't have a large sample size. I'll keep the filter as it is. B3 is something I've seen played. Yeah, anyway, I'm trusting Lichess's intuition here. Why am I... I need better resources here. Need better data. Anyway, bishop... After knight b3, I was happy here. Oh, okay. Yes, Stockfish does favor black in this position, but not if you play bishop e6. Right? If I just throw the bishop out here, like I did, black's lost a significant part of... Oh. I'm stupid. Yeah, bishop d7 is good enough. So, with the knight on b3, black is interested in using the pawn to control d4. Black's not super interested in moving the bishop around over here. Nor does black need to, like, put the bishop on e6 like they do in other variations. So bishop e6 here was extremely accommodating. And that's why I'm so upset. Or whatever the word you want to use is. This is why I was so, like, flabbergasted about things turning out the way they did. Yeah, and here, even, bishop d5 was cool. putting a bishop in the middle of the board doesn't make it more powerful in this case. Because it's not aiming at anything. The bishop's aiming at the king if you do that, but we've only got the bishop aiming at the king. It's a hard sell. So yeah, I played some extremely non-standard stuff, confused the hell out of my opponent. Managed to draw the game anyway. And I'm afraid to like analyze the rest of the game with the engine because it's just going to thoroughly embarrass me. And unfortunately, the master game database doesn't seem to have these sorts of positions, nor are there many positions in the Lichess database with that given filter of like 1600 stronger, blitz or slower. This just doesn't seem to happen very often. So, yeah, it's at that point where you can't find master videos or database games or anything like that. And you can't find a large sample size of Lichess games to review. It's only once you've run out of those kinds of resources and yeah. Right. Depends what your priorities are. It's something I learned from playing like Riichi Mahjong. On Riichi Mahjong games apps, there are multiple interesting conditions. One interesting condition is I'm doing daily quests. I just want to finish the quest as fast as possible. I don't care what happens to my rating. So you can have like multiple concepts of like what do you want out of something. Um, you can even do that with chess to some extent. That like, hey, I just want to play a game. I don't really care to win. I don't care if I lose. Or you might have some passion that like this game means everything in the world to me. If I lose this game, it's going to crush my soul and I'm going to throw a book at someone. Um, yeah. You have a quest. Incidentally, I don't know if it shows on the overlay, but I have a plugin called Hue Chess that changes the board color every time I win. So, actually, I have a quest, and that's why my board looks the way it does right now. Uh, so actually, yes, I have a quest. Uh, don't ask why. It's funny. Okay. That's all the justification I have. It's the dumbest quest, but yeah. Anyway, you don't have to, like, if there's no prize money, if there's no trophies, there's nothing like that at stake. You know, you just, you can have fun. Chess can be fun. It doesn't have to be a grind.